Hi everyone and welcome to class. Today's lesson is on dividing integers. Your learning target is to be able to find the quotients of integers, which means to divide. And you'll know that you've met that target if you can explain the rules for dividing integers, if you can find quotients of integers with the same sign, and quotients of integers with different signs. So let's get started by reviewing the integer rules. And I think that you'll find this familiar from your last lesson. If you multiply a negative times a negative, your answer will be positive. But if you divide a negative divided by a negative, it's also positive. So what I'm saying is your rules will stay the same for division. So a positive divided by a positive is positive. When you have the same sign, your answers will always be positive. When your signs are different, a negative divided by a positive, that's going to be a negative. And a positive divided by a negative is going to be negative. So when you have different signs, your answer will always be negative. So looking at this, we have negative 15 divided by 3. The integers have different signs. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. And because they have different signs, the answer is negative. 12 divided by negative 6. They have different signs. 12 divided by 6 is 2. And positive divided by negative is negative. 10 divided by negative 2. They have different signs. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And positive divided by a negative is negative. Negative 6 divided by 2. They have different signs. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And the answer will be negative. They have the same signs for negative 12 divided by negative 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1, and that will be positive. They have the same signs for negative 21 divided by negative 7. So 21 divided by 7 is 3, and negative divided by negative is positive. We wouldn't say they have the same or different because it's 0. Again, 0. Negative 5 divided by 4, they have different signs. 5 divided by 4, we could just leave as 5/4, and they have different signs, so it's negative. And then 5 divided by negative 4, different signs, so it's 5/4, and the answer will be negative. In this lesson, there is one skill that we need to review and refresh our minds on, and that is finding mean, median, and mode. Mean is the average. Median is the middle. And mode means most. To find the average, we take the sum of the numbers and we divide by the number of numbers. So for this example, the sum means we're going to add 12 plus 15 plus 8 plus 7 plus 5 plus 14, and we get 61. And then we're going to divide by the number of numbers, which is 6. And then we'll do long division, 61 divided by 6. And so here, bring down a 1. bring down a 0. 6 goes in there 1 time. 4, bring down a 0. 6 goes in there 6 times. So we would say that the average or the median is 10.16 because 61 divided by 6 is 10.16. To find the middle number, you put all the numbers in order from least to greatest. So we have 5, 7, 8, 12, 14, 15. And then you just cross the numbers off from the outside working in. And so your median or your middle is going to be right in between 8 and 12, which is 10. And then mode means most. So you look at all of the numbers together and you see which one appears the most. And there is no number that appears more than once. So we would say the mode, there is none. This slide is in your student journal, and it's just a review of the integer rules that we already talked about. If the signs are the same, it's positive. If the signs are different, the quotient is negative. So please make sure you write this example down in your student journal and write it exactly how you see it. A negative divided by a negative is positive, and 18 divided by 6 is 3. So therefore, the quotient is positive 3. This one should also be written down as an example. A negative divided by a negative is positive. 32 divided by 8 is 4, so the quotient is positive 4. And now it's your turn to try. Please answer these 3 questions using the same exact work that I just showed you in the previous examples. Then push play when you're ready for the answers. So for 1, a positive divided by a positive is positive, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. A negative divided by a negative is positive, and 32 divided by 4 is 8. And a negative divided by a negative is positive, and 40 divided by 8 is 5. Now we move on to dividing integers with different signs, but we set up our work the same exact way. A positive divided by a negative is a negative, and 75 divided by 25 is 3, so negative 3. This example is written as a fraction, but remember that fractions are still division problems. So this is just negative 72 divided by 9. A negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 72 divided by 9 is 8. So this is just negative 8. Now you try it with these 3. We are now dividing, and we are dividing with different signs. Push play when you're ready. So for number 4, it doesn't matter what the signs are. We just have 0. For number 5, we have a negative divided by a positive, so that's a negative, and 49 divided by 7 is 7. And for number 6, we have a positive divided by a negative, so that's a negative, and 21 divided by 3 is 7, so that's also negative 7. As we jump into this next section of our notes, we need to understand a couple things. First of all, we need to remember our rules for adding integers. like chop chop and chop slash, and how we add the opposite to turn all subtraction problems into addition. We also need to remember our integer rules for multiplying and dividing. And then finally, we need to remember substitution. Substitution is when you put one value in for a variable. So in this case, we have x equals 8. So instead of putting an x on the top of my expression, I'm going to take the x away, and instead I'm going to write 8 there. For the y, I'm going to take the y away, and in its place, I'm going to put -4. So now I do what's called simplifying. 2 times -4, that's a positive times a negative, so that's negative. And 2 times 4 is 8. And on top, I have 8. So now I look at this second step, and I'm dividing. A positive divided by a negative is negative, and 8 divided by 8 is 1. So this simplifies all the way down to -1. Similar to the last example here, I'm going to substitute, and I'm going to put 8 in for x, and in for y, I'm going to put -4. So this is where things are a little tricky, as I taught you yesterday, because we don't have parentheses at all in the -8 squared. We have to think of that as 8 squared and then the opposite. And we know that 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64, and then the opposite. So that's actually -64 plus 12 divided by -4. Order of operations tells us that we will divide 12 divided by -4. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. So this is -64 plus -3. Negatives plus more negatives means we have 67 negatives. So now it's your turn. Please evaluate the expressions. If A is -18 and B is -6, be very careful as you work through these, and then push play when you're ready for your answers. So for number 1, we'll rewrite this through substitution. So that's going to be -18 divided by -6. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So that's +3. For number 8, we have -18 plus 6 divided by 3. We have to do the top first. -18 plus 6 is -12. Divided by 3. We have a negative divided by a positive, which is negative. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that one is -4. And then for this last one, we're going to do -6 squared. There's no parentheses. Divided by -18. And then plus 4. So because there's no parentheses, this means 6 times 6, which is 36, and that's going to be negative, divided by -18, and then plus 4. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 36 divided by 18 is 2. So we have +2 plus 4 equals 6. For our example on modeling real life, we measure the height of the tide using the support beams of a pier. And we are asked, what is the mean hourly change in height? Mean is average, so that's the change in height divided by time. So the final height is 8 inches. The initial height is 59 inches. And the total time elapsed from 2 to 8 p.m. is 6 hours. So 8 minus 59, that's going to be negative 51, divided by 6. 6 goes into 51 8 times, with 3 left over, and a denominator of 6. And we know that a negative divided by a positive is negative, so that's negative 8 and 3/6. Or we could say, simplified, negative 8 and 1/2 inches per hour. In this example, a female grizzly bear weighs 500 pounds. After hibernating for 6 months, she weighs 350 pounds. What is the mean monthly change in her weight? So her final weight is 350. Her original weight was 500. And 6 months was the amount of time hibernated. So 350 minus 500 is negative 150 pounds in 6 months. And 150 divided by 6 is 25. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. So negative 25 pounds per month. Now it's your turn to try it. The table shows the change in number of crimes committed each year for 4 years. What is the mean yearly change in the number of crimes? So I'll help you get this one set up, and then I'll let you do it on your own. Average is the sum of all the numbers divided by the number of numbers. And in this case, number of numbers would be the number of years. There were 4 years. So now you go ahead and push pause and find the sum of all of these numbers and then divide by 4. Push play when you're ready. So what we have to do here is we have to combine our positives and negatives, and we can use the commutative property to help us. So let's add 215 plus 95. So we have 310 crimes that were increases, and then we have negative 321 and negative 185. We're adding these. So we have a decrease of 506. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take the 310 plus negative 506. Just like in chapter 1, we're going to look at the absolute values. The bigger absolute value was negative, and we're going to find the difference between 506 and 310. And that works out to 196. And it is negative. So we know that over 4 years, crimes decreased by 196. So we want to find out how many crimes decrease on average per year. We know that a negative divided by a positive is a negative. And then we just have to finish this up by doing 196 divided by 4. 4 goes into 19 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. And 4 goes into 36 9 times. 9 times 4 is 36. So you have no remainder. And so we would say then, because our answer is negative and our quotient was 49, negative 49 crimes per year. And it's negative, so it's a decrease. That wraps up the lesson for Chapter 2, Lesson 2, Dividing Integers. If you still have other questions, let me know. Otherwise, you may get started with your homework, and I wish you good luck.